Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, Dungeons and Dragons, and a brilliant, beautiful new game that perfectly reshapes how we can think of of the anchor species of Dungeons and Dragons: humans, elves, and dwarves. All right, so what I'm talking about is Felix Isaac's The Wild Sea. It is a stunning, beautiful, brilliant, completely free tabletop role-playing game that you can get right now. Do not hesitate for 1 second. Go get yourself the free, fully functional, fully playable, 150-page Wild Sea tabletop role-playing game. You do not need to buy it. There's a physical book. If you got all the money in the world, go do it. But if somebody hands me the entire functional, when somebody hands me an entirely functional tabletop role-playing game, I'm not going to buy the book because you already gave me 3, 6, 9 months of content. I do not know why this continues to happen. This has happened twice in the last month. The Wild Sea is fully available for free, and you can play it and you can enjoy all of it. I have no idea why tabletop role-playing game creators continue to give out not quick guides and quick starts, but entire functional games that could be run for months. This happened with Blood and Doom, and it's happening again with the Wild Sea. Beautiful, fantastic, free tabletop role-playing game. Go get it. I am having a blast reading through it, and it is really incredible. But it completely reshapes the way that we can see the anchor species of Dungeons and Dragons: humans, elves, and dwarves. So there's this brilliant, beautiful concept within the Wild Sea, and it's called the verdancy. Okay, Verdancy. So verdant means to grow. Okay, and the verdancy is a sea of trees that has covered this planet, right? And so basically, there are like 5 layers of this deep forest the forest is literally a mile thick on this planet, right? And so there's the top layer, which is all these beautiful leaves that are, hit by the sun, and at the top layers there's all these gorgeous birds, and you can kill them and eat them, and there's like fun things you can find there. And then below that there's actually a layer of all these incredibly rich fruits and things that can be used for medicine, and below that are even more powerful plants that are a little more strange, that could be used again for even more powerful medicines, and maybe some creatures that you can harvest for all kinds of different, for their bones, or for their the power of what their actual bodies can produce. Pretty incredible. And then below that there's like 2 other layers that never get reached by the sun: bioluminescence, and incredibly dangerous, horribly dangerous creatures that are in this forest, right? Now, what's really interesting is brilliant. The verdancy is a brilliant concept, extremely well executed. So once we see that and we realize what we're looking at, right? Then what does that mean for humans, dwarves, and elves? And what's interesting is dwarves are a people who emerge into the sun at a fairly rare frequency, right? So they are under stone and they mine out the mountains, and then they emerge into the sun when they want to trade with humans or elves, right? We used to think that elves were very different than dwarves, but now we know that's really not the case, right? When we consider elves from the perspective of the verdancy, they're another people who emerge into the sun. They wake up in the beginning of the day and they're under foliage. A dwarf looks up and they do not see the sun. They see stone. An elf looks up and, when they wake up, and they do not see the sun. They see branches and leaves, and the sun does not reach them until they emerge out of the forest, right, and into the sun. The humans are the exact opposite. They're out in the sun, all the time. And then at night, they breach back into a covered land, right? So they don't live in covered buildings most of their lives. Most of their lives are spent out riding horses on the plains, seeing the beautiful sun, just shine down on them. And the humans are the people of the sun, right? And the dwarves and the elves are people who only emerge out into the sun to go and interact with people who do not live in the biome they live, right? Whereas humans, like, their biomes are open to the sun, and they are a sun seeking people, right? They breach away from the sun at night, right? Whereas both the elves and the dwarves emerge out into the sun, but on their regular days do not see the sun. And I think the ramifications of this are massive. There's just this incredible, I think it's a beautiful picture, and it gives us a different way to understand elves. I think we understood this about dwarves before, but we never really understood that elves are very much like dwarves, but the path there is so different because the dwarves are in the mountains where nothing grows. The elves are in the forest where there's nothing that doesn't grow, right? But the reality is they are both peoples who emerge out into the sun. Whereas humans are these far wandering people who always have their face to the sun, right? Except at night when they breach away from it. Very fascinating, very fascinating. I think this is a beautiful picture done by Felix Isaacs. It's a real new key to understanding Dungeons & Dragons Elves. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.